I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not. Kovalev
was older. And he does.
Billy Joe.
Does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect.
To go to the 12th round, that's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show. You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box?
I hope not. I hope not, because the people deserve.
Like, he's not that big. You know, he heavy, but he not that big.
Right.
You know, and I'm just like, all right. I'm laughing, but at the same time, it started hitting me like, all right, man, maybe he on to something. You know, and then I started sizing him up, and I'm like, all right, well, Canelo 5'7". You know, my arm's longer.
Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez had a heated exchange at the Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas, the new site for their bout on September 13th. The pair were meant to meet near the fight venue for a press conference before their blockbuster battle in September, but things turned sour at the airport when they approached each other. The fight started between their teams.
What you talking about? You know the real deal. You know the real deal. Shut up, yo,
Shut up. Talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
When the two teams saw each other, they began to call out the names of their fighters and move closer together. As a result, there was a fight. Crawford and Canelo intervened and tried to separate them, shoving them apart and sending them on their separate ways. As they did so, they almost came to blows, but each combatant had so much to do for his teams that they had to go their different ways and make their way to the press conference.
Great show, you know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box?
I hope not. I hope not, because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win, and then we think do it.
Of course, the former undisputed welterweight champion from Omaha, Nebraska, spoke confidently and positively throughout the news conference, predicting a win for himself. "I'm definitely going to beat him. He knows I've always said this about the guys who fight him. They're always scared, but I'll come in, do my job, and win. He's a great fighter who I admire, but he's never faced anything like what I'll bring to the ring with him. I'm come with the goal to win, and I will. He may be bigger, but he is not better."
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'd be a well-fought fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that I step.
Crawford's comment was more than just that. It conveyed a humorous message to Canelo Alvarez, who did not like Crawford's words to him before the interviewer could move on to Canelo. He stopped and rejected Crawford's claim that he was better than him. "Why do you think you're better than me? What fighters have you fought? What is your fighting record like? What did you do that I hadn't done before? You're not superior to GGG, or any of the guys I've won."
Fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit.
Canelo Alvarez made a reference to Jermall Charlo, who he beat some years back after he had moved some weight classes up to fight against him. "You'll do nothing more than what Charlo did, and I'll treat you both the same way. I'll teach you boxing and let you know that weight groups exist for a reason. My hands will be the last hands to send you to quit," Canelo added before they were asked to continue with their face-off.
Crawford. But you know, You never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
Other than the size difference and having to put on some weight, what challenges does Canelo pose once you guys get in there?
I don't know. I just think, you know, his punching power and his physical size is the only thing that I really have to worry about. But who knows? Once we get in the ring, we don't know how I'll handle his punching power, his size. I've been fighting bigger guys.
This caused a lot of talk among boxing fans, who are looking forward to the exciting matchup between these potential boxing Hall of Famers. A fan even noted, "I can't wait for this match. It finally looks like boxing wants to reward us from many months of watching trash." The fight between Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez, set for September 12th in Las Vegas, promises to be one of the most emblematic clashes of the modern era of boxing. Both arrive as undisputed winners in their respective divisions.
Great performance tonight.
Oh, I feel great. I win. You know, I come to put a great show, but you know, to put a great show, you need both fighters. So, but at the end of the day, win is a win.
Are you frustrated with Williams' score?
Yeah, a little bit. But
What did you say to him at the end of the fight?
I say to him,
Canelo in super middleweight and Crawford in welterweight. Although the American will move up to categories to face the Mexican, he does so only after carefully studying his next opponent. Canelo's recent unanimous decision win over Cuban William Skull in Saudi Arabia was closely watched by Crawford, who studied the champion's every move. "I don't think Canelo has dropped his level. It was more the merit of the style that was presented to him," he told Fight Hub TV.
"No, you just come to, you can not win a fight like that, fighting like that." And he say, "I'm sorry, you know, it's my first time and I just tried to put a good fight and I'm so sorry." That's fine.
What's your message to fighters who will fight you in the future? Obviously not Crawford, but with that kind of mindset, they just want to last the distance.
That's a mediocre mind. That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put.
Let's fight now.
Well, I've been wanting to fight, you know. I feel as if that's a legacy fight. I feel as if, you know, this is the biggest fight in boxing today. I feel like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both coming in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So,
Canelo threw 152 punches, only 56 of which hit, and despite 40 of them being to the body, the knockout was never close. Crawford said Skull moved a lot and effectively countered Canelo's big punches, but he also noted that the Cuban did not keep that pace throughout the fight. He was boxing well until he quit. Crawford has previously intimated that his goal will not be to get the knockout, but rather to dominate Canelo with tactical acumen, quickness, and relentless movement. His ability to change postures, adapt to varied methods, and confuse opponents makes him a dangerous threat.
every time I see him, he'll come and be like, "Canelo."
You know, yeah, you know how Billy do it too, yeah.
Every time I'll be like, "Man, come on, man."
Yeah.
So every time he say that, you know, I just be like gradually getting into like looking at like, okay. And he's not that big. You know, he heavy, but he not that big.
Right.
You know, and I'm just like, all right. I'm laughing, but at the same time it started.
The Americans seem to think that with discipline, lateral movement, and active defense, he can deactivate the Mexican's power following the fight in Saudi Arabia. Crawford entered the ring and faced Canelo for the first time, officially kicking off the promotion for their bout. The scenario not only raised supporters' expectations, but it also demonstrated that Crawford is prepared with more than just strength. He plans to use his mind as well. "I'm seeing the holes in his game, and I know how to attack him," his trainer, Brian Bomack McIntyre, has stated, indicating that the plan is in place despite the fact that Canelo is the betting favorite. Crawford is not a regular opponent.
I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him, but he's boxing. He's boxing, and you know, things happen.
Did you watch the fight?
Yeah, of course. It was the fight.
He was a good dancer.
Yeah.
Would you rather see him fight Gus Haney again or Rowley again?
The American has uncontested belts into distinct divisions, a feat few have achieved in boxing history, and he is now seeking a third against one of the sport's biggest stars. In this war, legacy is as important as victory. Canelo Alvarez stated in an interview with Sway's Universe that he is open to the fight I am in. Why not? Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but for me, in my weight class, it's a simple battle with easy money. If the money is right, I'm in because I don't like facing men like Crawford. He moves a lot and the fight isn't particularly exciting. I saw his last fight, and he doesn't move too much anymore. So if the money is right, I'm in. Weight groups exist for a reason. Canelo added,
Cuando vine a pelear a Madison y voy a volver a venir.
Canelo, I'm sure you saw the fight with Crawford in Madrimov, and you heard Turki Alishik say that he sent you an offer, possibly to face Crawford for coming up here. Is that true, or what happened with that?
No, I don't have any offer. And look,
This declaration is a major reversal for Canelo, who earlier expressed reservations about facing Crawford, citing the lack of respect he would receive for defeating a weaker opponent. Meanwhile, Crawford has been persistent in chasing the showdown, eager to jump up to weight classes to demonstrate his power. Crawford is fully aware of his physical disadvantage against Canelo, conceding that size will be an important factor in the fight, yet he remains confident in his abilities to overcome this hurdle and impose his fighting style. Some pundits are skeptical about Crawford's ability to fight well at super middleweight. This is due in part to his most recent fight, a points win over Israel Madrimov at super welterweight, which lacked the overpowering performance many expected.
Hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. It's real simple. Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say it.
Fight would be massive.
And you mentioned Floyd. Obviously, Floyd and Manny, a lot of people thought happened way after it should have happened. You guys are both in your prime right now. You guys are both two of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. This is the biggest fight in boxing right now.
Definitely. And that's what I've been saying. You know, you got two guys, top 3, pound for pound.
Regardless of these problems, the hypothetical fight between Canelo and Crawford has piqued the interest of boxing fans. The mix of strength, speed, skill, and charm from both combatants sets the setting for a spectacular showdown. Teddy Atlas, a longtime trainer and boxing analyst, spoke with Ring Magazine about his opinions on the Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford fight this fall, and why he thinks Crawford will win over the naturally bigger Canelo.
Was Crawford, his composure going to be like the moment a punch lands on him from Canelo?
Are you kidding me? Take that question back.
Yeah, why?
Because you're talking about Crawford.
Yeah.
He's
the weight classes.
He's the most composed guy. Yeah. What, you don't think he'll be prepared? You think it'll be a shock to him? No. He's already moved up 3 weight classes. So now you're talking 6. If you add on 3. Crawford has the ability to slow things down in the ring that very few people have.
Throughout the sport's past, one of the most common questions has been who will win between the really good big man and the really good little man. Atlas said, that has been a question throughout the history of the sport, and we're getting another chance to answer that question. You can make cases on both sides. Well, Canelo is too large. He's too big, and as great as Crawford is, he stepped up with Madrimov, and he suffered a little bit. He won, but it was more competitive than we expected, and we didn't understand how excellent Madrimov was because we underestimated him based on his 10 pro fights versus 300 amateur matches. He was a good and strong boxer.
Timing is at a different level, just a whole different, dimension than anybody else. He sees things that other people don't see. So it's not just that he's quick and he's faster, but his timing is better because he's so calm that he sees something and he's just going to catch it. Just a twitch of your muscle, whatever it is, where you're just starting to see that.
We started to underestimate Crawford because our standards were so high, which is incorrect. That is wrong. He won. He changed gears. When he understood the level of the opponent in front of him, he did what was necessary to win. However, many people may argue that Canelo is too huge. He struggled with a 154-pounder when he went up from welterweight, so he's going up to 168. I'm going to make a case throughout the history of the sport that little guys have been able to beat big guys because you reverse the situation. You reverse who has the advantage and who has the disadvantage.
And to see things that nobody else can see because he slows it down. Yeah, he's got great power. He carried it up. Yeah, he's got good hand speed. Yeah, he's got all that. He's got good technique. His coaches do a tremendous job with him. But the timing is impeccable. It's better than anyone else's. Why? Because of this. When a guy has that ingredient,
and to see things that no one else can see because he slows everything down. Yes, he holds immense power. He carried it up. Yet, he has good hand speed. Yes, he has all of that. He has good skill. His teachers do an excellent job with him, but his timing is flawless. It's superior to everyone else's. Why? Because of this. When a guy has that ingredient, the size and the power of Canelo, then all of a sudden you go back and you say, hey, wait a minute, the other guy's faster, the other guy's craftier, the other guy has more options. Maybe he's got the advantages, like the first time Pacquiao fought De La Hoya, and I know De La Hoya was having trouble with weight and all that. I get it, and that's fair. At the end of the day you have an argument on both sides who really has the edge. I want to find out. I'm one of the people that think Crawford's very special. I'm not saying Canelo's but I think he's special in a different way, where he's got skills everyone has. It's the timing, it's the intuitive things, the X factors. I think they're going to show themselves. I really do, and that's why he's always ahead of you. I think the only thing that, look, Paulie brought it up, and there's a couple things that obviously can defeat somebody as special as Crawford. You can move up to many weight classes. Don't think that's the case. He's got the skeleton, he's got the size, he fits in good. He's a wiry guy, and these guys aren't. You know, he's a good solid fighter, and I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy. Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez reflect boxing royalty from different kingdoms. Crawford established himself as an undefeated welterweight king until stunningly beating Errol Spence Jr. Alvarez progressed from super welterweight to light heavyweight, winning titles and destroying hearts along the way. Their September meeting promises to be one of those fights that boxing fans will remember for decades, regardless of who wins. The build-up to this boxing megafight has spawned an abundance of expert views and hot takes. Every athlete, trainer, and pundit seem eager to give their predictions for September 13th.
Every time I see him, he'd come and be like, Canelo?
Yeah, you know how Billy do it too, yeah.
Every time, I'd be like, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
So every time he say that, you know, I just be like gradually getting into like looking at like, okay.
World Boxing Council lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson recently added his voice to the growing chorus of predictions. His take carries extra weight because he trains alongside Crawford and knows his fighting style better than most. When someone spends countless hours in the gym watching a fighter work, their opinion tends to carry more credibility, and random social media takes Stevenson's prediction couldn't be clearer or more confident. He believes Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez when they meet in the ring. My arms longer. He's strong, I'm strong. It be to me skill for skill, right? You know, cause Canelo not the biggest 168 fighter, so I just started looking into it, and I'm like, man, the young lightweight champion didn't hold back his enthusiasm for his training partner's chances. He acknowledged Alvarez's skills, but insisted that Crawford possesses all the tools needed to solve the Mexican superstar's puzzle. I think but is going to cook Canelo. I think Canelo is a hell of a fighter, but has all of the tools to beat him. I think he'll make the weight difference something in certain fights. Yes, if this was David Benavidez, that would apply because he's a lot bigger than Bud, but with Canelo physically he's kind of big, but height-wise he's kind of small. I think Bud Cook, kind of a little hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools. You don't think the weight difference too big of an I think you'll make that something in certain fights makes it something like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than, so that would apply, but I feel like with Canelo he's physically kind of big but lightweight. This isn't just blind loyalty talking either. Shakur Stevenson has watched Crawford adapt and overcome different fighting styles throughout his career, from his days as a lightweight to his present status as an undisputed welterweight champion. Crawford has shown an ability to figure out any opponent put in front of him. Many observers think Canelo Alvarez's physical advantages will be a significant influence in this battle. He's naturally bigger and stronger, and he's been fighting in higher weight classes for years, but Stevenson rejected these worries, pointing out that, like easy work, Alvarez is physically thick and muscular, but not particularly tall. Yes, you are insulting the top, and I will not lie about it. I'm around 80 to 90% confident in this box, and I'll be calling, but I think Bud has all of the qualities to beat Canelo, such as being a southpaw, having the footwork, being fast and sharp, etc. Crawford's previous opponent Kell Brook is looking forward to the fight because he thinks it will be a battle of two excellent fighters. Nonetheless, he expects Canelo to win because Crawford will be jumping up to weight classes. Brook thinks it is difficult to overcome such a weight difference against a strong champion like Canelo. He also thinks Crawford would be unable to recreate Mayweather's strategy for defeating Canelo because the two fighters are not the same, and Alvarez has greatly improved since his defeat nearly 12 years ago.
About a fight, Crawford-Canelo in September. You obviously faced Crawford, so I do need your opinion on this fight. And Canelo's fought recently. What do you make of that fight?
It's a wow. It's a wow fight. You know what I mean? It's two supreme athletes fighting against each other. But you've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin.
He told pro boxing fans, "When I look back on Mayweather's victory over Canelo, I see a mover. Crawford does not particularly like Mayweather. In that sense, he kind of sets his feet," adding, "I think it's a different fight to Mayweather. Canelo is definitely a different fighter than when he faced Mayweather. You understand that there is a significant difference, especially when someone is fighting a middleweight. A mediocre world champion is fine, but fighting someone like Canelo or Golovkin is a totally different story. I have to go with Canelo, but Crow is very, very good." Do you believe Crow still has the legs? Obviously, he has a very high IQ in the ring. Brooks stated regarding his prediction, "I'd have to go with Canelo because of his size, experience, and ring generalship. His knowledge is huge and strong. Crawford is a little guy, sharp boxer. He's also number one, but as I previously stated, in my opinion, I have to go with Canelo, and that's it for now. Stay up to current on boxing news, comings, events, and activities by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to switch on notifications to be told when we post excellent video like this. Until next time, peace.